All right, here we go. It's May 22nd. We got a huge earnings report tonight, Neil. It is Nvidia, and it is the big one. With its AI dominance, it's been very important to the broader market. The earnings have been good so far with the S&P and the NASDAQ now at all-time highs. The issue is going to be, what do these numbers show us, and can we continue with this northbound move in the tech sector?
Yeah, and if we're going to continue with that move, we're going to need them to beat expectations.
Oh, yeah.
The idea that you can just get that revenue expected at 24.5 billion and just come in and give everybody what they want, that's just not going to fly for Nvidia. You know, it's like a 26 or bust. A lot of analysts are going to be looking at. So if you can beat those expectations, fine. But the way the market has been going, you're at the highs already. Nvidia's already at a top. It's run into those earnings. If we cannot beat 24.5 on revenue, then I think you're going to disappoint this market. And really, the downside could be tremendous. We've seen it already sell off once, double digits.
Yeah, and I was nervous about yesterday when we got that Amazon report there, apparently, about Blackwell and maybe a little bit of a pullback on orders there. That turned out not to be true, and then Nvidia rallied back all the way to the top. So let's see what happens tonight. Of course, Wall Street, though, still buy ratings. They're all over this stock. They like the name. And I really think that hedge funds, I mean, imagine telling your clients you're not long Nvidia if they come out with this beat. I'm thinking we rally into the close and then we wait for that number. Nvidia at the top. Wall Street likes it. I like it. But as you mentioned, those chip names, AMD still well off the high. There's going to be competition for Nvidia coming through. And then a big sort of possible headwind. What about China? Let's see if there's more restrictions being put on those chips being sent over there, because that is going to definitely affect the guide.
Well, one thing you said in there, any hedge fund manager that hasn't gotten into Nvidia, it's like if you didn't buy the last dip and they actually do put a beat in, you've got no choice at that point. Because what are you going to wait for? 1,000 gets to 1,000 and splits, game over. That's the other thing we should think about here too. Is if they do, let's just say they come out with a split and they beat that 26, you're talking about a moonshot at that particular point.
The split is huge.
I think that could be a big catalyst. I don't know if they're going to do it. I'd put the better chance at that than a dividend, but you absolutely never know. A couple of big names have done that. I don't think that makes sense for Nvidia, but it should be something to watch, because anything that shocks to the upside, I think, is going to be tremendous. But when you have, again, the market at these highs, S&P just pushed back into the highs. The NASDAQ is continuously making some fresh highs, and we've just been pressing. There's so much breadth to this move. If Nvidia were to disappoint, well, you're at the point in the market where people are going to start to take some off the top. If Nvidia does disappoint. It's not just an Nvidia story. This is an overall market story tonight.
I mean, you already mentioned that 22% move down, and I think, like, I already got FOMO not buying that dip. And so are we going to buy him again? We had Brian Shannon on yesterday, and the year-to-date anchored VWAP is something in and around 860. I think we could get a flush into that, and then we'll look for that 750 to possibly hold. But for me, look, I'm a fan of the name. I think the AI revolution is obviously just getting started. I want to buy some Nvidia on dips. I think it's a wicked opportunity. It's going to be a great day trading opportunity as well tomorrow, as we'll see a lot of volume coming through, and we'll have to be more patient. Wait for some levels to develop, because you mentioned even on the show today how wild it can get early, and then the next thing you know, it starts to base out and gives you those opportunities. So tomorrow is going to be an absolutely insane day for not only the SMH, you can look at SOXL, but also its competitors, AMD. Look at some Micron in there for some DRAM. Like, let's see what the space is. And then we even talked about ARM flushed a little bit today.
Yeah, ARM's another big one. Like, the entire space is going to be in play. There's no question about it. If you're looking at the chips, then it's your Super Bowl tonight. And then trading.
And there hasn't been any decent earnings for a while. I mean, we got Target, we got Walmart, so some kind of like boring retail. So right now we're going to see, and then you made a great point. What if they split? What if there is that dividend that gets added on? And all of a sudden we saw Meta rip like on a dividend announcement, and we'll see the same thing from Google, and we could see the same thing here from Nvidia. So I don't know. Many names are at all-time highs right now. I don't see any reason why Nvidia can't take that out and see above 1,000. I mean, how much of a magnet is 1,000?
I mean, it's just such a big psychological level. You can't even discount the fact that in this particular case, they're expecting a slow in growth. And then still a gigantic bounce in EPS.
People still want 30% EPS growth. I mean, like, it's going to be insane. How much more can Jensen get out of these guys?
The expectations are through the roof. I mean, that said, if they meet them, Jensen can get himself a new leather jacket.
Maybe. He sent his old one to Sharif, I guess. But Regardless, it's going to be a monster. Stay tuned on the market recap show tonight. We'll have that for you with those reports. And then tomorrow morning, we'll be trading it live on Trader TV Live. So, again, good little report coming tonight, and we're super excited.
Yeah, it's going to be a big one. Make sure you tune in tomorrow morning, but more importantly, get it live on the market recap show because it is going to be wild. I promise you.
Bang. Thanks, guys.